Hey, what's up, beautiful people? Your boy AK here with a car video. I'm gonna be jumping on this trend. I'm not driving, by the way, just so you know. I'm perfectly safe. I'm just in the parking lot. I'm gonna be paying my parking and getting out of here once I'm done with this mini rant. But I wanted to really talk about something very general that I just had I was walking around town. I was doing my things, and I realized, oh yeah, I've just come up with this things that I really wanted to discuss, and I thought, why not to put it out there and just make it a thing as well, because I think it's a very cool thing to just share your thoughts with people, and you as well, especially because you've been my loyal subs, and we're growing strong as well. I'm really grateful a lot, for everything in terms of the new subs who came to the channel and supporting it. That's awesome. I'm like mind blown, literally. Now, here's what I wanted to talk about. You know how we are seeing a lot of times when, as of late, there's just been too many really poor quality products that have been coming out, especially in entertainment business, and some of it is actually mirroring our paleo community in some sense, one way or another. And the way it is you've got, I noticed that the standard of what is being aimed at and how it's being done has lowered significantly. And I think partially we have to really try to explain, try to examine why that is. Why, for example, we're not seeing, higher, better quality, films and documentaries made about dinosaurs as a thing, because this is what we're mainly interested in on this channel. So why are we not seeing that? And the same thing with games as well. Why are we not seeing the true high quality level products that represent what I think anybody who's genuinely interested in the subject will want to see? And why is it being marketed as one thing, but it doesn't actually, come together when you start taking it apart? For example, if somebody's promoting their products as being, top-notch scientific accuracy, which is an impossible standard anyway, then when you start taking it apart a little bit, you realize it's, it doesn't really come together very well. So I was thinking, about that a little bit, and I thought maybe the real problem is not just really the people who are trying to give us these products. It's not necessarily the people in entertainment who are hiring unqualified people who are not even, proficient enough or competent to make a good product. They just inject it with identity politics and ruin it. It may be the problem that we as an audience are rewarding them for it. And I think as an audience and as consumers, we have to be fair and reasonable. We have to give credit where it's due, but we also have to be, given the criticism where it's appropriate. We have to be more willing to put it out there. And because of everybody getting offended so easily at literally everything, somebody farted, all of a sudden it's offensive to the air, or to the atmosphere because somebody farts. That's apparently a problem these days. Don't tell me, don't ask me. I'm not the one. I'm just saying what I'm hearing and seeing a lot, and it's just how it is. Now, the thing I wanted to say here is we have to ask and demand a higher standard for things that we as an audience and consumers are paying our money for. We have that right. It becomes a lot more tricky when you are doing it something with paleo, when it comes not to products directly, but when it comes to the sort of standard and application of science that is changing as well, because we see a lot of times people call things science that is not even scientific. It's just a trend that has been generated because it's a new fashion thing going on. So it's more about folklore and fashion than it is about actual science. And the ones that I think who may be partially to blame, maybe us, maybe not us, but maybe there's something in between. But I think us as the people who are the targeted audience, we should be more, we should step out and call it out a little bit, like I'm seeing some people getting, complaining that, the community is becoming toxic. It's not the community's fault of being toxic. It's just your perception of certain things being that way because you just don't like to hear what they're saying. You have to try to look between the lines. I mean, look, I'm an asshole on the internet. I get haters as well. I get people, see people saying some dumb shit on my channel as well. And I'm not even a big channel yet, and I'm already kind of getting that. I'm like literally like tiny little ant, in comparison to all of these other bigger channels out there. But I'm still getting it as well. And guess what? it doesn't matter. I mean, I just try to look at what the actual argument is. If there is an argument, I just address the argument. If there is no argument, then I just say, sorry, mate, not worth my time. Because, you know, time is precious. I want to spend it on something that is actually going to be productive for me and my viewers and yourself, maybe, because it's always, you know, a mutually, you know, two-way street. If you're engaging in an intellectual discussion, you do want it to be up to the standard so that both of you and your you know, partner, whether it's a partner or opponent in a discussion or debate, can benefit from it. And I think this is the problem. We are not seeing this kind of standard being encouraged and rewarded. We're seeing people mostly getting offended and trying to shame it because apparently criticizing is toxic. Bollocks. So yeah, I wanted to put that out there, and I don't want to make it too long because it's a car video and stuff like that, but I just really wanted to rant about it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just try to reward and encourage higher standard. If you see that the arguments are lacking in something, and you have very specific points where you think that they should be, you know, getting more elaboration, more, you know, points, you know, more angles and stuff like that, go for it. Ask the questions, do something. Like, you know, don't be afraid to ask these very, like, you know, scientists or whatever. I mean, I'm putting quotation marks because a lot of the scientists that claim they're scientists, they don't even use science to, you know, to provide arguments. They just like come up with something and just promote trends. And there's a lot of, unfortunately, stuff like that happening. You know, who knows who's going to be the next Jack Horner, you know what I mean? And I mean, Jack, with all due respect, he's done a lot of work in the field, but again, then he did some publicity stunts, which he later admitted were the publicity stunts, and everybody was taking it as a real thing. So who knows? The next Jack Horner might be not exactly him, but somebody else, you know, doing something similar, so that then later they're going to come out and be like, yeah, I did it for publicity because that was trendy, that was getting people, you know, it's just a way for them to stay relevant. And I think we should encourage, if they want to stay relevant, maybe we should encourage them to actually look at science as it is and not try to come up, you know, with a narrative to force their ideas or other people's ideas to justify themselves and fit the narrative, but rather than letting the actual evidence and letting the facts itself, the empirical evidence, do the narrative for you. You know, let the characters do the plot and the talking and all, and lay it all out for you and see where it goes, instead of forcing these characters, you know, and whatever it is that you're trying to approach, depending on the subject, forcing them to go down the preconceived idea that it should be that way, but it's not true, it shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm defending my side of the argument not because I'm biased towards it, but because there is just better argument for it. I have not seen anybody, with a few minor exceptions, who have been able to actually produce really decent arguments to challenge mine, as far as I'm concerned. Not because I think it's me, because I'm cool, but you can read it and you can see for yourselves in the comments or wherever, or in Discord as well. Speaking of which, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and join my Discord, because we can talk about things that we don't always get an opportunity to talk about while we are here. So anyway, just wanted to do this little rant, so let me know what you guys think. What do you think about this, you know, this whole thing, you know, when it comes to how do we encourage a higher standard of things in general, you know, whether it's the documentaries so that they are more encouraged and rewarded for better quality products, and not necessarily